I saw it in TV, Arab Spring, especially Tahrir Square, and I was thinking, wow, that's a very important moment in history. And it reminds me on my own revolution in the GDR, who went in a good way in 1989, when the wall fell down. So I wanted to make a film about Hamid Thammasat, an Egyptian writer, and he went to Germany, and he's quite famous in Germany now. And he wrote an amazing book, amazing biography. So I wanted to do a film about him. And I had a small scholarship from the film fund to write a screenplay. So I was in front of TV and I was thinking, okay, you can go to Tahrir Square and write a book there, because he was already there. And I just went. But I never had time to write a single line, because when I arrived Tahrir Square with my suitcase, they started already shooting with tear gas, and I was in the middle of the revolution. So I spent 2.5 years, most of the time actually really at Tahrir Square and around in downtown. Part of the film is shot in Luxor, and I meet the artists one by one, by accident actually. The first artist, Amma Abu Bakr, I meet doing the fights in the break. He was sitting in a cafe, a very normal coffee. I don't know, at this time it's an artist cafe. So all the fighters taking a break and taking a tea and then go back to the fight. So I was sitting there, he was next to me, and he had a sketchbook. And in the sketchbook there was a sketch from Ali Ahmadi, who took off all her clothes to protest against Islamic morale and say, my body belongs to me. It's a very artistic photo. And 4 million viewers click already on that photo. I know that from the internet. And then I saw the sketch and I asked him, what are you doing? And he said, yeah, I'm thinking about making graffiti. I said, wow, can I film this? And he said, maybe, let's see, here's my phone number. He gave me his phone number. Then 2 days later, in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock, he called me and said, hey Marco, can you come down on Tahrir Square? We are starting now. And then they cut all the stencils, I think until 5 o'clock in the morning. And then I filmed a little bit, I slept, I filmed a little bit, I slept. And then we took the car and sprayed the graffiti all over Cairo. And that scene is exactly in the film, both of the scenes. Sure. As you can see in the film, the artists are developed their skills. So they start with a small wanted graffiti from a police sniper to show his face and his name, so people should catch him and bring him to justice. And it works. It was 2011, and the last graffitis are a whole street with 5-meter high graffitis, the Mohammed Mahmoud street, the third layer already, because they destroyed the other second layer. And so the artists develop a very, very powerful strategy for their goal to save the revolution. And they even play with the mass media. For example, first you do a graffiti, people coming and talking about it, then the journalists are coming, then film people coming, like me. In 2012, I was nearly alone with Amma. In 2012, there were everybody there, and when he was doing graffiti, Al Jazeera came, BBC came, all the Al Arabiya came, all the channels came. So he could spread his message all over the place. And the books came out, exhibitions came out, panel discussions. So I think it's a very powerful tool. It's a very beautiful, there's a very beautiful book too. I even bring it here to Romania. And so we are in a lot of festivals all over the world too. So we also spread the message. I think it works. It's very powerful. Actually, people always think the masses making revolutions, but I don't think it's true. It's always a small minority with visions and who change the consciousness of the people and make them aware of the problem or make them aware of the solution or the situation the people are in. That's the function of an artist. The function of an artist is not to guide the party or to convince people to vote for him. It's always about the consciousness and about the... And what Amar did in the film is, I think he really created the picture of the revolution. It's like a water drop who reflects all the very complex things around them. It's in one picture. You have the historical level, you have the very emotional level, the artistic level, religious things, a lot of things are in one important picture. And it took me also time to understand that. Because at the beginning I was following the political events, like went to the election, filmed the election, but during the election no one of my artists went to vote, no one of them. They say, no, we don't go, this is not a free country, this is not a free election, we don't vote. And Amar was painting the faces of the martyrs. He don't call them martyrs now anymore, because it's such a religious term. So he said the fallen, the killed young people who were killed for the revolution in the fightings with the security forces in the Muhammad Mahmud Street. So he was painting the faces of them, very big, to remind the people the price the people has to pay for the revolution, that the revolution is not over yet, because there is no justice for the killed, they don't reach their aims. So and then I understand that's the real picture of the revolution, and not this kind of news coverage of elections, and this is just a surface. And that was the moment when I decided to make a film about the artists. They understand the concept of the revolution very well. The problem is the democracy. To bring down a dictatorship, they are very skillful. They did it 2 times with Mubarak and with Morsi. So now the aim is much bigger and much more difficult, because what they didn't succeed to bring down the system. Corruption and the military with the state connected. And so you can see now the regime is in power, back in power again. This is a big problem. And people are not experienced in democracy, and they cannot unite it, they fight with each other. So it was easy for the military, or also before for the Muslim Brotherhood, to take power. In terms of fail or success, I mean, it was 1989 was in a way successful changement. So that's how I feel for my personal life. Right now in Egypt, I feel it's a terrible, so it's completely a disaster. 2 of my artists are not in Egypt anymore, and they were the whole shooting time in Egypt, no problem. But now they are one is in New York, and Rami Ganzir and Rami Assam is in Sweden, and they will not return the next 1 or 2 years for security reasons. But we will see, maybe soon, much sooner as we expect, it will change again. Could be. I mean, it cannot go the same way forever. I mean, it can be worse, like Syria or Iraq, yeah, with ISIS. So it could be much worse. But I think at the end, the ideas of the revolution, freedom, democracy, social justice, it will succeed. I'm quite sure. I mean, this was the moment when I saw the graffitis of the martyrs. When Amar really painted the faces of very young guys, 18 years, 19 years old, who died in the street fightings. And they died because they died for a bigger goal. So they are willing to give their life, and they're really willing to fight until the end. And this is something we are not used to it anymore in Europe. Yeah? So it's very understandable that it's not a free decision in a way, it's a need. So you have to do it because otherwise nothing will change. You have to break the rules, you have to destroy actually a society, a rotten society who is not functioning anymore. And they succeed in 2011, but not full. Yeah? So it was a kind of strategic mistake too. But you never know. I mean, if you see Libya or if you see Iraq and Syria, you see what happened if really the state power disappeared completely. Then the extremists came to power. This is much worse. Most important thing for me was, that's why I did the film actually, it's the longing for freedom. So I choose people who are really radical, longing for freedom, with all the consequences, are really willing to even give their life to reach individual freedom. So I think they're really heroes and role models in a way. And the point of view on society, it's very similar than my own point of view. It's not much difference, even if the culture is different. But so I think we should tell their story to convince other people and to spread their story. And I'm quite sure one day they will succeed.